Get in here. Come on, get in here. I think the Facebook leg is over, so get in here. Come on, come on. It's Friday night. It's the best night. Or Monday night, or Tuesday night, or Wednesday night. Any night that strengthens your soul on is the best night. But get in here. We need you. We're waiting for you. I want to remind you, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 8 p.m., Strengthen Your Soul is on. As always, our schedule, 8 o'clock, things open up. People start getting in here. Come on in. 8:01-ish, we grab a drink. 8:02, we take together, and then we start because we have work to do. At 8:10, we do some experimentation to see if, and I know, but to see if what Jesus promised about having a healthy soul is true. And we try to just grab hold of principles that Jesus taught and then live into them. So get in here. Come on, get in here. You'll notice here there's future topics written at the bottom of our, not our whiteboard. It's not a whiteboard. There's no reflection of our flip chart today because this one's being done from the office. But at the bottom of the flip chart, we got future topics. And so some of you've made requests, you've posted comments, you've messaged me about things you'd like to talk about. And I have probably a couple dozen other topics. But I want to make sure that if there's anything that is on your mind or anywhere you need help, that we cover it. So please just message it in. We'd love to do that. As always, please like, comment, or share. Really has helped change people's lives, which is amazing. And we are on YouTube, just a reminder. With that being said, you got 10 seconds. Grab a drink. Get your drink. Get your drink. We're going to cheers in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2. Let's go. Cheers. So let's talk about your soul. Tonight on Friday, we are going to wrap up the fourth part in our 4-part series looking at deprivations that people have in the soul. So we've actually looked at, this will be our 5th area, but 4th talk. 5th area of the soul. And each of these are developmental, and they really help fill your soul. And there are gaps that each of us have. And again, you may not have our issue tonight, but I guarantee you, probably, a conservative guess would be 30% of people you deal with the deprivation we're going to talk about tonight. As always, thankful to my friend and mentor and the dean of my program for my doctoral program out of New York. His name's Dr. Martin Sanders, brilliant guy. He's put this idea in my brain and helped me work on it. So, I want to start with a story. A while ago, I was talking and working with a friend of mine who is a phenomenal leader. And I was prepping him and helping him get ready for career-wise, the biggest test of his life. It was like a rigorous interview process with numerous stages and psychological evaluations. You lay out your strategy and your thinking and your absolute best. They have people looking at weaknesses in your competence and capability. It's the most rigorous training available for his chosen career path. It's the hardest thing in the world. And I remember we were just talking, and I remember actually he ended up doing remarkably well, and he passed. And I remember I was with him when he got the news that he had passed this career, and he was filled with joy. And then the first thing he did was call someone really close to him, one of his family members, one of his parents, to tell them that he had passed. And this parent had almost no emotional reaction. This parent had almost no emotional reaction to their child passing the hardest test of their entire life. And in that moment, a whole bunch of things clued into me. And it taught me about the power of parenting and the power of helping people feel significant. Significance is an issue that every one of us wants to feel like our lives matter. But there are some of us who, no matter what happens, we always feel like we're one mistake away from being a colossal failure. We feel like our life isn't that important. What we've done doesn't that matter, that we could have always done better. We're kind of haunted by this hole in the soul where we feel insignificant. Many of us deal with this. And again, if it's not you, you know dozens of people who feel this way. And if you want to live a life fully connected to God and fully strong in your soul, the gap of significance must be filled in your life. So today I want to walk you through a few signs. I got 5 symptoms that you might have a significance gap or deprivation in your soul. And I am wearing like a workout shirt. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. The reason I am is because it's Friday. So it's Casual Friday. I just feel so comfortable with you. And normally I wouldn't draw attention to anything that makes me feel weak, but whatever, here I am wearing a gym shirt. So I want to give you 5 symptoms, and I'll put a nice little underline here. So symptoms, 5 symptoms. This will help you diagnose yourself. I want to give a caution too. Whenever I talk about deprivations and weaknesses, one of the temptations that all of us face, part of our own brokenness as human beings, is we like to use tests on others to find out their problems. And some of us, we ignore our own. So in this series, don't use these against other people. Use it to diagnose yourself. So here are some symptoms that you may have a deprivation of significance in your life. So first one, I call it a vortex, an encouragement vortex. What I mean by that is this. When you have a significant gap, and I can tell you this because I'm working on closing mine, is that after you have a performance, you do something that's important to you, so for me in this case, speaking, you look immediately for affirmation. That's normal. Everybody does that. That's not an unhealthy soul symptom. But if you do get compliments, if you do get feedback, it is only like you've fed a hungry tiger a little morsel of meat. So it awakens up, it stirs up this hunger for encouragement, this hunger for a way to go, good job, a pat on the back, a reward, a treat. Basically, if you find you get some encouragement and it makes you long or hunger for more, it's a good sign you got a significance gap. Number 2, I got to write smaller here so I can fit everything on tonight. Number 2 is this. I'll use a fancy word. I'll use this word nihilism. Nihilism is basically this line of thinking that life, and your life in particular, has no value, no purpose, no meaning. Do you ever have that thought in your mind that your life has no value? If you do, that's a lie from either yourself or those around you or our culture or even the enemy of your soul. You have immense value, but it is a sign that you have a significance gap. 3, risk aversion. I'm not talking about ordinary risk aversion. Most people don't like risk. We like a little bit, but not too much. What I'm talking about is if you were paralyzed to speak up, to have your ideas known, to live into your dreams, it is often a sign that you feel insignificant and therefore unable to put yourself out there. Because if people see you, they'll see how insignificant, unimportant you are. Number 4, and then the 5th one, we're going to get really real. But I'll use another technical term. I forgot an S in there. High neuroticism. I spelled it wrong. Don't care. It's not on a whiteboard, so I can't even fix it. I would fix it, but I can't. So neuroticism is, according to many psychologists, it's actually a part of personality. It is the degree to which you experience negative emotion. Now, hear me, some of us, we just feel negative emotion differently. That's just true. However, some people with high levels of neuroticism experiencing negative emotion, big dips, it has to do with a gap in the soul regarding significance. Because when you know you've done significant things, your bad days aren't that bad because you know that you matter. That's why. And number 5, this one is real, and I put this out there because I have to. Some of you listening, you have thoughts in your head of quitting. Don't. This talk tonight might save your life. Tonight, you might see that Jesus actually has fullness for your soul, and you are significant. So let's talk about a couple causes. We'll go quick. Oh, my marker might be running out. I might have to switch to a color. Okay, there we go. Causes. 1, perfectionism. If you have, either by your own choice or by your upbringing, have learned that only perfection is enough, you will feel insignificant all the time. You will. Because if everything less than perfect is insignificant, then your level of achievement will always crush you. Make sense? 2, if you have no or low encouragement. So again, this is not a feel sorry for yourself pity party. That's never what Strengthen Your Soul is about. It's about empowering your soul and allowing God to empower you. But if you grew up in an environment where you were rarely encouraged, rarely blessed, rarely loved, rarely touched, rarely kissed, you're going to have significance issues. Number 3, I call a shadow life. What I mean by that is this. Often we can feel insignificant if we grew up, particularly with siblings, who were extraordinary. So I know some people grew up with extraordinarily good-looking siblings, like a sibling who just looked amazing, and everybody cared about them, and they were the favored one, or incredibly athletic, or incredibly tall, or the one who is the funny one. If you lived in the shadow of a sibling, or even of a parent, or grandparent, it can often cause significant issues in the soul. So, what do we do about it? How do we try? How do we allow Jesus? Again, recognize some of you don't know about Jesus yet. If you need to say the universe or life, that's okay. I do believe when you're speaking of things cosmic and at the center of life, I know for a fact that you are talking about Jesus, and I know that he loves you, and he finds you to be significant. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what I call think, pray. We do this all the time. We're going to pray. We're going to speak out to God. Out loud is great. It's super helpful. And we're going to think and allow God to drop thoughts into our brain. And this is most commonly how God speaks to people. Sometimes it's more profound than that, but this is the most common way that people hear from God. In the Bible, it's the most common way that Jesus said, I only say what the Father says to me. Jesus actually listened in prayer always, all the time. So 2 steps, and we're going to do them one at a time. Look back. When I say the word look, I mean 2 things. I mean think. So this is your part. And then pray. So right now we're going to take 30 seconds and think back, but also go, God, would you show me the significant moments in my life, the moments that really mattered to you? And just list out a couple. I'm going to use some abbreviations for some because I don't want to disclose who these people are because I'm not sure if they would want me to. So for me, I'll just tell you what's going on for me. Of one of these people, there was somebody I worked with who was easy to pick on. And we worked together, and he was my employee. And I was I did my best to be as kind as I could be to him. And I feel like God's saying that was really significant. Another one of these, when I was growing up, there was a kid who was, and I grew up, this was like 30 years ago, well, 25 years ago, I guess. There was a kid that everybody thought was gay, and back in those days, you would get made fun of and bullied and picked on. And I remember I befriended him. He was my friend. And I thought he might have been gay as well, but I decided I would just be his friend, first and foremost. I feel like God said that's important. I need to clarify too something real quick. As I say this, God does have standards for human sexuality. That's not what this episode's about. But he does. But he still cared deeply about how I treated this person. So you got to look back. Allow God to tell you things that were significant. And then we're going to look ahead. Same concept here, thinking and praying. And we're going to ask, what matters now? You're going to think and you're going to pray. And then, what might be around the corner? That makes sense? So you could go, God, what matters now? And what might be around the corner? Just let him speak to you. And as you're doing this, allow him to say why you matter. That's what we're really doing. Why you are significant. And because we're getting a touch late, I'm going to wrap up here by just keep doing this on your own, but I'm going to wrap up for us with a simple blessing I'd love to pray over you. Here's my simple prayer. May you know the deep love of God. May you know your incredible significance. And this weekend, may you experience the depths of God. All right, we'll see you all on Monday, and you have a great day. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Hope your soul's strong. See you soon.